Africa has always dreamed of unity, but who dares to make it real? As the Sahel bleeds and neighbors turn away, one unexpected ally steps forward. Not with promises, but with power. Morocco is rewriting the rules, offering ports, support, and something even rarer, true solidarity. This isn't just diplomacy, it's a revolution in African unity, and it starts now. Welcome to Talk of Africa 360, your source for insightful news, analysis, and thoughtful commentary. If you value informed perspectives and fact-based reporting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is based on reliable public sources and credible online information. It is intended strictly for educational and analytical purposes. We do not promote or endorse political violence, hate speech, or any form of discrimination. Our goal is to inform, not to inflame. Thanks for being here. Let's stay informed together.
Will Africa ever rise as one, not just a patchwork of borders and flags, but a single, defiant voice too loud to silence? That question still echoes across the continent, a dream that's lingered for decades, handed down like a sacred legacy. And yet, here we are, still chasing unity through a fog of division. When one African nation is cornered, how many others rally in its defense? How often do we witness true solidarity, especially when the stakes are highest? Take a recent example. Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, a leader standing firm in a storm of accusations and external pressure. He faced serious threats. Yet, how many of his fellow leaders stepped forward in support? Barely any. But one voice broke the silence. Not from a general or politician, but from a monarch, the King of Morocco. Known more for diplomacy than disruption, he made a rare and powerful move. While others hesitated, he acted not just in words, but with tangible support. His message was clear: Africa must not stand divided. While Western powers tried to isolate Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and some African nations stood idle or worse, turned their backs, Morocco opened its arms. The king proposed military collaboration, economic partnerships, and access to Morocco's Atlantic ports. More than a gesture, it was a strategic opening for the Sahel alliance, a potential game-changer. This wasn't mere politics, it was a spark proof that unity isn't just idealism. It's a choice, one nation standing by another. One leader daring to act when others stay quiet. In that moment, the King of Morocco did more than make a statement. He planted something deeper: hope. The dream of a united Africa no longer sounds like fiction. It feels like a future in motion. The countries of the Sahel, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have taken on the monumental task of reclaiming their sovereignty. They've chosen a harder path, one of self-determination, free from neo-colonial influence. But instead of support, they've been largely abandoned by neighbors. Nations like Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and Ghana's former leadership have stayed silent or worse, aligned themselves with foreign interests. Rather than stand beside the Sahel in their struggle, some West African governments made deals with external powers, reinforcing old patterns of dependence. Ivory Coast and Benin are among those who've opened their doors to foreign military presence, allowing destabilizing forces to take root right next to their embattled neighbors. Many believe that even the attempted coup in Burkina Faso bore foreign fingerprints, with links tracing back to Ivorian soil and foreign agendas. It highlights a troubling new divide, not just territorial, but ideological. A battle between submission to old systems and the bold pursuit of a new, independent African narrative. In the midst of this fracture, Morocco emerged as a different kind of partner, not with strings attached, but with substance. While others tightened the noose, Morocco extended a hand, offering collaboration, support, and most crucially, access to the sea. For landlocked nations like those in the Sahel, access to maritime trade isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Historically, they've relied on ports in Ivory Coast, Benin, and Senegal. But those relationships have grown brittle. Niger, for instance, had its oil shipments blocked by Benin, a stark reminder that regional cooperation can vanish when politics change. Then came Morocco's bold offer: free, unconditional access to its Atlantic ports. No hidden agenda, no diplomatic fine print. This breakthrough followed a summit in Rabat where Moroccan officials met with foreign ministers from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The setting was official, but the message was personal: brotherhood, not bureaucracy. For the first time, the Sahel had a secure gateway to global trade, one free from the whims of unsupportive neighbours. Burkina Faso's foreign minister, Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré, described Morocco's actions as an expression of genuine affection for Africa more than just a diplomatic move. This wasn't a transactional agreement, it was a declaration. Africa's future belongs to Africans who choose to stand together rather than bow to external pressure. Traoré was visibly emotional when acknowledging Morocco's gesture, not because of its scale, but because it was offered without condition. This was not performative solidarity, it was Pan-Africanism in action. Mali's foreign minister, Abdoulaye Diop, called the move transformative. It could finally end the isolation that's held back Sahelian development for generations. What he valued most wasn't just trade, it was Morocco's respectful approach to political change in the region. While others imposed sanctions and issued threats, Morocco responded with empathy and understanding. While groups like ECOWAS pressured the Sahel countries to quickly transition back to civilian rule, Morocco chose patience. Rather than issuing ultimatums, it extended dialogue. It respected sovereignty in doing so. Morocco isn't just reshaping regional diplomacy, it's proving that African-led cooperation is not only possible but preferable. What most people don't know is that this wasn't a reactionary move, it was part of a long-term vision. Years ago, King Mohammed VI proposed integrating the Sahel into Morocco's infrastructure grid: railways, roads, and ports. The only condition: the Sahel nations must build the internal systems to connect. This wasn't charity, it was partnership with purpose. It demanded vision, trust, and mutual growth. And Morocco followed through. The country cancelled debts, lifted tariffs on Sahelian exports, and opened up critical infrastructure. Why? Because Morocco understands the broader reality. Since the fall of Gaddafi in 2011, instability has flowed across North and West Africa like a rising tide. Morocco recognizes that if the Sahel burns, no African country is truly safe. Instead of waiting for foreign forces to fix the crisis, Morocco stepped in like a true neighbor. Some may ask, what does port access have to do with security in the Sahel? Everything, because the real battle in the Sahel isn't just against armed groups. It's against poverty, against isolation, against desperation. Extremist groups don't recruit with ideology, they recruit with food, with money, with empty promises. And the tragedy, many of their foot soldiers are children. Kids pulled into violence, not because they hate, but because they're hungry. Now imagine a different path, one where those same children grow up with hope, with education, with healthcare, with roads that lead to opportunity. In that world, extremism loses its appeal. The lies no longer work when people have something real to believe in. This is the future Morocco envisions: a Sahel protected not by guns, but by growth. Not by foreign troops, but by dignity and development. And it's not about headlines. Morocco's bond with the Sahel is personal, rooted in shared history, faith, and African solidarity. This isn't about image, it's about a destiny fulfilled together. And if this vision succeeds, it could change everything. Years ago, King Mohammed VI proposed something bold. Morocco would open its roads, railways, and ports to the Sahel. If the Sahel nations developed the links to connect. That's not charity, that's partnership with purpose. Built on trust, and Morocco delivered. Cancelling debts, waiving trade duties. Opening the gates. Why? Because Morocco sees the bigger picture. Since the fall of Gaddafi, chaos has spilled across borders. And if the Sahel falls deeper into crisis, the whole continent will feel it. Others wait for foreign powers to solve Africa's problems. Morocco. It's taking responsibility as a neighbor and as a fellow African nation. And no, this isn't just about ports, it's about the root of the crisis. Because the true enemy in the Sahel isn't just violence. It's poverty, it's abandonment. In these forgotten corners, extremists don't need to fight their way in. They just offer food, money, promises. And children follow not from hate, but from hunger. But what if those same children had schools to attend? What if their parents had jobs and healthcare? What if roads led to opportunity instead of despair? That's the future Morocco envisions. A future where development not force protects the Sahel. Morocco's efforts aren't about headlines. They're about heritage, history, and shared destiny, A united Africa, it's not a fantasy. It's a future waiting to be built. And maybe, just maybe, with moves like this, that future is already here.
As reactions continue to pour in from across the continent, one thing is clear. Africa is demanding respect, sovereignty, and accountability. Was this just a diplomatic misstep or a deeper sign of shifting global alliances? We'll be watching closely. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, unfiltered African news. This is Talk of Africa 360, telling the stories that matter.